Stories that are untold, underreported, and all-out inspirational. Carey Pena reports.
Hey guys, I'm Carey Pena. Thank you so much for listening to Carey Pena Reports on iTunes and Stitcher, and for watching our shows on Facebook and YouTube. And be sure to join our growing community at inspiredmedia360.com. On this podcast, we interview people who have highly inspirational stories to share. And joining us in studio today, she just flew in from Los Angeles, documentary filmmaker, cookbook author, blogger, mom. Your resume goes on and on. Mom of 5. Kelly Woyan. Kelly, good to see you.
So good to see you.
Thank you so much for being here. We also have a special guest. You can't see him, but Gerard is right over there. He's from ABC 15, and our friends from ABC are going to be running this as a television segment as well. So, Kelly, you have had an incredible career, finding success on so many levels. But this interview today is all about what to do when life crashes and burns. And boy, did it happen to you. But what I really wanted to talk to you about today is how you managed to rebound in a very inspirational way. So we're going to be sharing all of that with our listeners and our viewers in just a minute. But first, I want to get a little bit of your backstory because it's so interesting. How did you become a documentary filmmaker and a very successful one?
Thank you. Yeah, it's like my 8th career. I have 9 lives of careers, it seems. 20 years ago, I went to journalism school. I had always wanted to be a foreign correspondent since I was 13 years old. I just really was passionate about telling other people's stories. I've always had this just idea that, all across the world, there's stories that aren't being told that should be told, even from a really young age. So I think that's what inspired me to become a writer. And so from there, I went to journalism school and worked in a newsroom in Chicago. And then I got married really young at 22 and had my first child, my daughter, Chloe, who's now 17, shortly thereafter. Mm-hmm. So I gave up all that. I just decided to stay at home. My daughter had some developmental delays, and I just really felt this was my new role. This was my new passion. My child was everything to me. So I stayed at home for a very long time. I had 5 children, ages, 7, 10, 10, 12, 14, 17. Every genre is covered in my family. So we, just did family. And I became a food allergy advocate because my oldest son was diagnosed with life-threatening food allergies really young, at around age 1. And it kind of sparked this interest in me to be the advocate I always knew I was, even when I was in journalism school. I all of a sudden found my voice once again. And so I started a blog, and I remember thinking, nobody's going to listen to me. Nobody's going to read this. This was when blogging was brand new, maybe 2002, 2003. So I barely knew how to set up a WordPress. So I did that. I took some pictures, knew nothing. And then it really got popular. And, I... Not
only popular, but how many... you had literally 1 million followers, right?
I had a lot of followers.
Yeah.
And really, I became an advocate. And it was a role that I did not sign up for. It was quite accidental. So I just felt like it was my passion to protect kids like my son, like in the school setting, playgroups. As he grew older, I found that my role of advocate changed from just, preschool to the school level and then a national level.
And then you ended up also writing cookbooks.
Crazy.
Successful cookbooks.
Which is nuts because I actually don't know how to cook.
That is so funny.
So that's the craziest thing. I have no training at all.
The Food Allergy Mama's Baking Book and Vegan Baking Classics, 2 of your cookbooks. And you were blogging for Martha Stewart's whole living site. Mm-hmm. And I looked when I was trolling through some of your pictures. Also, you've been on the Today Show and you've done a lot of media. So you suddenly were this mom of 5, finding this huge successful career.
And accidental. I didn't plan for any of it. Like when I went on Martha Stewart, I remember thinking, I'm not prepared. I'm not teaching her anything. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's Martha Stewart. Like, what can you even teach her?
Exactly. And I was nervous too because I heard she can be a tough cookie, no pun intended, but she
I've
could
interviewed
be tough.
her. Yeah,
you have. So I was a little nervous, but it was great. She was fantastic. So it just really kind of developed into this, online television, national presence. I did a lot of writing for publications, Women's Day, Wall Street Journal. people. And I was always surprised. I'm like, why do you care about my story? But I think people just really love that underdog story that here is a mom, she's got a lot of kids.
Yeah.
She's just doing the best she can.
Yeah.
And I think at the very least, that really resonated with a larger audience. And so over all these years, I developed this following that led me to the book deals. Again, I had never written a book.
Yeah.
I had never written a recipe. I just started blogging because I was sick of using the recipes that were in cookbooks.
Well, you started blogging, I think, for the right reason, and that is passion. You know, you were
100%.
passionate about the subject and you started writing about it, learning more about it, sharing what you learned with a greater audience. And then you ended up winding, the road kept winding, and you ended up in Los Angeles, and you were exercising now your dream of journalism and documentary filmmaking.
Yeah.
And you've landed some popular movies.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's all accidental because when I moved to the LA area, I went to grad school. I applied to go to USC because I felt like something was missing. I just wasn't using my voice in the way I should be anymore. I think sometimes when you've exhausted this option, you should always be searching for the next thing. And I'm just an endless learner. So I kept thinking there's something else I should be doing with my voice. This isn't serving me anymore. So I went to grad school. I got in. I don't know how because I took the GRE and I failed 3 years of Algebra 1. So I don't know how I even got in, but lucky, I don't know. But it was a life-changing moment for me because here I was, you know, mama of 5, as you said, trying to commute to LA in that traffic, you know, 3 or 4 days a week, doing unpaid internships that are like 10 hours long a day, you know, and trying to raise a family and do homework and all this stuff. But it didn't matter because I was so happy. It was as if something renewed in me, something that was once just kind of dormant. My creativity just burst open. And I was sitting at a table like this with, you know, millennials trying to learn from them. It was amazing.
Well, your life is a life of learning. And I think one of the things that your story says is you keep going no matter what happens. So now I want to share with our audience sort of what happened, how I met you, just for some context for everyone. I was brought in to do a brand building project for this great charity, Global Family Philanthropy. And Lori and Seth Goldberg run this charity. They're amazing people. They do a ton of work in Haiti, building houses, literally rescuing children, building medical facilities. And when I was doing that brand building project, you were one of the people I interviewed because you are one of their volunteers.
Yeah.
And something you said during that interview really struck me on a deep level, that in the middle of this very busy life you had and so much success, whether you asked for it or not, your marriage came crumbling down. And it was devastating to you.
Awful. My whole world just blew apart. And it was not the life plan I had set for myself. It was, again, unexpected. As with everything, it seemed in my life. And, you know, I think with me going to school and then my marriage falling apart, it was like here I was rebirthed in one sense and then I was dying in another. And, you know, when something like that happens, nobody can prepare you for that kind of trauma and that kind of loss. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, my mother, I think I told you before, she had died when I was very young, when I was 22. And I always said I never wanted to join that club. This is a club I never wanted to join.
And that's what I want to talk about, because that was what was so striking when I sat down to interview you, is what helped you fill that void. And you said it saved you.
Yeah, it did. And, you know,
working in Haiti.
Yeah, when we talk about how Seth and Lori came into my life, they came into my life, one of my very best friends from high school. And it's so funny. I lived in Arizona for a year, graduated my senior year here. Met my girlfriend Stacy, was my best friend. Who would have thought all these years later we would still be the best of friends? She introduced me to Global Family and to Seth and Lori, saying, hey, like, this is an organization I'm on the board of, and they're really amazing people. I would love for you to come on a trip. And I'm like, Haiti, I'm so busy. There's no way. But she brought her kids, and it really inspired me. And it just something ignited in me that, well, maybe I'll give it a shot, because I had nothing. So for me, it was just this idea that I could go to this country and where they have nothing, seemingly have nothing, but they truly have everything. And I seemingly have everything, but I felt inside I had nothing. So for me, the idea to go there to remember who I was, which is I was just like them. The people that I was helping, all of a sudden I felt, oh my gosh, they're helping me. They're giving back to me and reminding me of who I am, which is a woman who's stronger than I ever gave myself credit for. I'm a strong mother. I take care of others. I'm a nurturer. And volunteering, my God, I mean, that's what we should all be doing, because my mom always used to say, if you're really, really feeling stressed out and anxious, stop worrying about yourself. Go help other people. You'll quickly forget about yourself.
Paint the picture for me. So like you said, your life is so busy and you're firing on all fronts.
Yeah.
And now you're a single mom to 5 kids, and some might go, and she left to go on this volunteer mission to Haiti. Tell me about what that did to help you repair your soul.
Well, I think people didn't understand why I would choose a country like Haiti, which is arguably the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. But to me, it seemed like an easy, natural choice because I wanted to go to the one place that needed the most help. And to me, as soon as I stepped out there and all my barriers were stripped. I had nothing. You don't have health care. You don't have a medicine. You don't have normal food. You don't have normal water. Like, everything that's comfortable for you is gone. And all of a sudden you're just there. So for me, to spend a week in that place and to really be loved by the children that we help in our orphanage and the medical clinic that we help serve. I mean, there's different projects that we did that every time I stepped foot and I woke up that day and I knew what my project was that day, I felt of use. I felt connected to humanity and really to myself. And all of a sudden, my worries about divorce court and the lawyers and what people in the neighborhood are saying, it didn't matter, because what really mattered, what was right in front of me.
What do you want to say to those people who little did they know they were helping you heal?
Oh.
Like, how deep?
I mean, it's hard to articulate. As somebody who is a writer, it's very hard to articulate how much they mean to me. I would give everything to them, everything I have to them, because they saved me. And they saved me when I thought I was worthless. I thought that I had nothing left to offer. I was depleted. I just felt I was at my lowest low, and just by showing up was enough for them. And to me, that kind of love between other human beings, really, that's what life is all about. And I don't think I got that until I volunteered and until I really stepped outside my comfort zone, left everything at the door, rolled up my sleeves, and just helped others.
Do you think being vulnerable and allowing yourself, like you said, to tear down those walls has been beneficial for you?
Yeah. What I realize is I've spent a lifetime being so strong and, just kind of be just, somebody that didn't seem to have a lot of issues. I always picked myself up. I always try to have a positive attitude. But the idea that I was falling apart, and so visibly to not just, myself, but to the people that love me or kind of know me or really know me, and especially to my children, it was tough.
What is your life like today? You still go to Haiti?
Yeah, I'm supposed to go. I'm actually supposed to go in 2 weeks, but I'm still trying to figure out if I can go because I have to shoot something else for work. And the scheduling is really difficult. So I'm still trying to figure that out. I'll go later this year regardless. But my life now is coming back together. I'm doing work that I truly love. I just got back from Israel working on a documentary. Really had a blast. I am writing, working on a film that I'm super passionate about for a production company in LA. And I'm still making cookies with my kids. I'm still really being their mom and present when they're with me. So when they're with me, I really take time to appreciate them and my moments with them. So in that respect, I'm really enjoying that.
You're happy.
I'm really full, and I'm really pieced back together, and really grateful for everything I've been through. And, it's one foot in front of the other.
You think it's fair to say, though, it's hard to sum up anyone's story. Our stories are all complex. But do you think it's fair to say that you owe a great deal to that trip to Haiti?
Oh, yeah. It changed my life in every possible way, to the point where I can't imagine not doing that kind of work. And when I go back to see those kids, Like they're like my kids,
Yeah.
and I miss them as I would miss my children. So for me, yes, it's changed my life in amazing ways.
I do want to share out Global Family Philanthropy. If you want to find out more, it's globalfamilyphilanthropy.org. Kelly, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You flew in especially for this interview, and I hope you're going to go see your high school friend
Of course.
after and hang out, maybe have a glass of wine.
Of course.
Always great to see you. And
you.
thanks to all of you for joining us. You can always find us online at inspiredmedia360.com, and be sure to join us to receive exclusive interviews that will inspire you every single time. You can always find me on Twitter and Facebook at Carey Pena TV. Today's show produced and engineered by Shannon Hernandez, brought to you by Inspired Media 360. Until next time, stay inspired.